This week, Jess is back from the Big Apple. She recaps the New York City Pet Con. Dan tells tales of driving for DoorDash. And could you drive across the country in 27 hours? All this and more on this week's episode of the CC Mouse Podcast. All your bases belong to us. Welcome to this week's episode of the CC Mouse Podcast. We're good for your ears. I'm Dan, and you can find me at RFS Dan.
And I'm Jess, and you can find me at Snow Dogs Vlogs and Gone to the Snow Dogs.
For some reason, when I did the intro this week, unlike the other 47 other weeks that we've done the intro, I had my arms back and my head out like I was running like I was Sonic for some reason when I was doing this intro. I don't even know.
Maybe one day they'll get a visual when you do the intros.
I'm sure they can. It's just imagine me looking fast. And I guess with my hair up, I do look fast sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
So I've noticed there's been a theme over the last 4 episodes or so here on the podcast, and that is you traveling to another Pet Expo. You're on the road, like longer than like Lou Ferrigno or any of the other washed up Comic-Con people that go traveling around. How does it feel living the con life?
I like it. I like traveling and I like going to new places and I enjoy it. I enjoy it because it's different. You know, like I work from home, so it's the same all the time. So I love it when we get to go somewhere and it's like, ooh, I get to work from somewhere else.
You know, that is something that we talk about a lot. You're always wanting to get out. You're always wanting to go like on an adventure and stuff. But I get it. Like your office is at the house and you gotta go out and see people and make sure that it's not just you and Jamie inside a house every day.
Right. And it's definitely a different lifestyle. So being able to go and do stuff it's stressful because it's like getting everything ready, making sure you packed everything. I mean, I think we've gotten to the point now after doing this so many times in the past few years, we kind of both have the mentality of if we forgot it and we need it, we'll buy it. Like if something that important that we can't travel without, we'll just buy it. Like, right. I don't know if I said when we left for Canada, we forgot the dog leashes. We were 20 miles from home and we forgot the dog leashes because I loaded the dogs in the car in the Jeep in the garage. Important. Yeah, so because I didn't have to take them outside, I didn't have to put their leashes on, and I left their leashes sitting right by the back door. So
right.
we did turn around and come get those because I didn't want to buy other dog leashes. I wanted my dog leashes. So, but a lot of the times, you know, we get there and it's like, oh no, we forgot this. Okay, well, we'll just buy it or we'll, you know, run up the street and get it. It's not a big deal. So we try not to stress out too much when it comes to traveling. You know, we always try to make sure we leave ourselves enough time to get where we need to be. If we show up early, it's way better than showing up late. So we always try to like, all right, as long as we're there a couple hours beforehand, we'll be fine.
Well, hypothetically, could you live the convention life? Like, what if you had to do this like some of the people do, like every convention? They travel around the country. There's only so many weekends in a year, so you can only go to so many conventions. Could you live that life?
I could, 100%. I could.
Does it feel like a repeat?
No, and I think it doesn't feel like a repeat because every convention we go to, every one of these pet cons and pet expos that we go to, we see different people. So, I mean, yeah, we may see the same people, like when we go to Canada, we may see the same people that we saw the last time, but we also see a bunch of new people and then we're always in a new location and there's new things that we see at the event. So it doesn't ever feel like a repeat to me. It's always just, I don't know, it's always fun and new. And I mean, we went to Canada twice this year and we went to Niagara Falls twice, but we saw it in the daylight and then we saw it at night. And I've never seen it with like leaves on the trees because it's been cold. So maybe one of these times we'll go and it'll be summertime and we'll see it when it's warm out. Who knows? I don't know. New York City this year, we saw it in the rain.
So I've known you for a long time. This might be the busiest travel year that I've seen you go on so far.
Yes, by far. This is definitely because we did Grand Rapids, then we did Canada, then we did LA.
Oh, yeah.
LA. And then we did Novi in Canada and New York. Am I forgetting one?
Yes,
is that all the ones we did?
You're forgetting you. You did California again. And then...
twice.
Yeah, you did California 2 more times because we did Vid Summit and we did VidCon. We went to California 3 times this year?
Yeah,
did we
I was in
hang out
California
that much?
3 times. Yeah, and then you were here.
Yeah, I think I counted up how many days we spent together this year, and I think it was like 3 weeks worth of days.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, I've had my fill.
Yeah, so what is that? 10 big trips plus our camping trips, but that's not really conventions. That's a different type of thing, but yeah, it was a lot. It was definitely a lot.
Yeah, you did some miles.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, my Jeep just is going to roll 30,000 miles in like the next 2 days.
Wow, and you've only had it. This is the one you only had for like a year, right?
Yeah, I bought it in April.
Holy cow. I've had my car 2 years now, and I looked at my mileage, and I think it said 14.
Yeah, so my Jeep is a 2018. It's going to roll 30,000 miles. Jamie's Jeep is a 2016, and I think it has 29,000 miles.
Holy cow, but it has all mountain miles, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So on this adventure, you're off to New York, obviously, which I guess is probably from Michigan to New York. You probably have to go all the way down and around, like, so it's probably 12, 13 hours of driving?
Yeah, it's about 13, almost 14, depending on traffic. So we drive all the way south we could drive through Canada, but it doesn't save us any time. So instead of having to go through Border Patrol and all that stuff, or the border crossings and all that stuff, we just drive straight down. So we go down through southern Michigan, through Ohio, through Pennsylvania, through New Jersey, into New York.
Dang, that's a lot of traveling for a one-day convention.
Yeah. It was, last year it was 2 days in New York, which, was kind of nice. It was kind of nice that this was only 1 day as well, though. We drove 9 hours straight. We stayed in Clearfield, Pennsylvania. And then we got up the next day, and it's only 4 hours from there into the city. And we made sure to leave early because we didn't want to roll into New York City at like 5 o'clock at night. We rolled in at 3, which worked out pretty good. We made it through the Lincoln Tunnel, which, like, there's only so many ways to get over to New York City. There's a bridge and 2 tunnels, or 2 bridges and 2 tunnels. I don't know. So it's like a bottleneck, a giant bottleneck. Everybody wants into the city, and there's only so many ways to get in, so you hurry up and wait.
Were you in the city, like where your head would be sticking out of the taxi cab and you'd be taking pictures of stuff in Times Square and Frank Sinatra would be there playing?
Yep, the Empire State Building was right down from our hotel. Times Square was less than a mile away.
Wow.
The Rockefeller Center, not Rockefeller Center, is that what I'm thinking? Yeah, where they have the Christmas tree, wherever that is. They that wasn't that far away either, but so we were in the middle. We were in New York.
Oh wow! So you were in the thick of it, the home of cement and no grass.
Yeah, Cement City, the concrete jungle.
How does that? Because last year, I don't know if you mentioned this on any of your videos or anything, but last year you were a little stressed out because it was hard to get the dogs to go outside because there's just so much cement.
Last year was extremely stressful in New York because Shelby was very set in her ways. She didn't like the subway openings. She didn't like the steps. She didn't like that there was like grates because a lot of the buildings have grates out in front of them that open up on their steps to get down into the basements underneath the buildings. She didn't like that. She didn't like the noise, the echoing off the buildings. And then, getting her to go to the bathroom was a nightmare. I think she held it for 32 hours straight before we finally found grass. Like, we were ready to leave the city that night just to get her to go to the bathroom.
You were so stressed.
Oh, it was so bad. It was so bad last year. But once we found a spot by one of the bus garage things, and it was a little ways from the hotel, but I would walk her there and she would go without a problem. So I'm like, this is the spot. We're going to go here, and this is where we'll go every time. So once we kind of found that, it wasn't so bad. But again, it was a walk. It was a distance we had to go. And then this year was a little bit easier because I think, Memphis and Kyra are less attitude, more carefree. So they still, of course, would not go to the bathroom on the sidewalk because that's just disgusting.
They have better manners than some of the people that actually live there.
Yes, they do. So I had to take them. When they told us where we were staying at the hotel, we stayed at what was called the Hilton Fashion District Hotel. And it was a really nice hotel. But of course, there's no grass. And you go out front, and there's like this little mud spot underneath of a bush. And both of my dogs were like, I am not going there where everybody else has gone. So we walked up the road, probably about a half a mile. There was like this apartment complex. And then there was a little kid's playground. And out in front of the playground, there was like this little section of fallen leaves and grass, but it was behind like a 1-foot-high fence. Well, the first time I went down there, I had just Kyra. Kyra jumped right over that fence and peed. And I'm like, okay, this is the spot. You can get in here. They're not supposed to because New York City doesn't want dogs to pee anywhere except for the designated areas. They have like dog runs. There was a dog run right up from where we were, but it's all pebbles and rocks. And my dogs won't go to the bathroom on rocks. They want grass.
Right.
So New York City, I don't care what anybody says, New York City is the most unfriendly dog city I have ever been to. There are people that will tell you it is like the most friendly dog city. No, it's not. It's not. That's your imagination. You want to think it's dog friendly because you live there or because you love it. It's not. When they put fences around all the grass and specifically tell you your dogs can't go there, like when you walk up and down the sidewalk and there's trees, they fence in every tree because they don't want your dogs to pee on the trees.
They're probably getting destroyed.
It wasn't a bad location this time. There was still no grass where the convention was at. There was no place for the dogs to go to the bathroom. They didn't have anything set up inside for pets to go to the bathroom. But city dogs can do it. It's just the dogs that aren't from the city that have a hard time. And I feel like a lot of the dogs that come there are city dogs. They're dogs from the city. They're pets that live there and they're used to that life. And if your pets grow up in that life, they'll use the dog runs without issue and they'll go to the bathroom on the sidewalk or they'll pee on the side of a building. Like it's no big deal for them. So I guess it's pet friendly if your pets grew up there, but if you try to bring outside pets into the city, it's a little bit more difficult for them.
Right. And I notice a lot of city people will have smaller dogs, or they'll have that like month club where they just send like some turf for your dog, which is kind of cool.
We were actually supposed to get grass sent to the hotel, but I guess it showed up like the PetCon had it sent to us, but I guess it showed up and they sent it back because we weren't at the hotel yet. It showed up the day before, so we didn't get it. I don't know that I would have used it. That would have been weird as well, but...
I would have used it. If I was there, I would have tried it.
It was, I don't want to knock New York City. New York City really is a cool place. And I don't want to pick on the people that live there because they're, as much as they say, New Yorkers are mean, they're not. A lot of people in New York are super nice people. We always ran into nice people. People said hi. People are like, oh, they're always so rude. And you walk down there. Maybe it's because I had the dogs. Everybody smiled at us, but
no,
we had a good trip.
We're just telling stories.
Yeah.
People are inherently nice. Like people are more nice than not. You just usually don't hear about that. Even like working in retail and stuff, it was 95% nice people, but those stories aren't fun.
Right. No. So we did find some places for them to go to the bathroom like a half a mile from our hotel, and we rolled in 3:00, did all that stuff, went to the convention the next day. Pretty much we left at little after 4, headed back to the hotel. We decided to eat, ordered food, and while the food was coming, we decided to pack up and get the heck out of Dodge, because why the heck not?
Yeah.
There was a snowstorm coming, and we didn't want to get caught in it, and we're like, it's only 4 hours back to Clearfield, Pennsylvania, so it was like, what do? We could stay in New York, but it was raining. We're not going to go anywhere, because the dogs, I kid you not, Dan, the dogs were disgusting. I had to buy sprays and wipes, and I may or may not have borrowed a hotel towel because they were so dirty. And I'm like, I'm not walking them down to Times Square because they're going to be disgusting. I'm not walking them anywhere else from here. We just, the options were sit in the hotel for the rest of the night, get up early and leave, or pack it up and go. So we packed it up and left.
Why do you think the dogs were so dirty? Just from the city?
It was wet. It was raining. So the sidewalk was wet and there was puddles everywhere. And it was because there's so much, like, because it is a concrete jungle, cement city, all the dust and the debris from the cars and everything sits on the sidewalk. And then when it gets wet, it's almost like walking through, like, ash isn't the right word, but that's what it reminds me of. It's like black. So their paws were black, and anywhere that splashed up onto their fur was black. So I had to like take the grooming wipes and clean them all up, and then I had this conditioning spray to make their fur soft again. And every time I took them out, I had to do that.
Does that stuff work? Conditioning spray?
Oh yeah. That's a pretty good trick for anybody that has a dog that they take a lot of places, and everybody goes, "Oh, your dog's so soft." Leave-in conditioning spray for dogs works amazing.
So how was the convention itself? Was there a lot of people there?
There was, I believe we had the longest line. Out of all the lines I saw, ours was extremely long. We had an hour and a half, and it was amazing. And I know I'm going to forget a lot of the people who came and saw us, but to anybody that came and saw us, you guys are amazing. I got surprised by quite a few people, like the woman that drew the stickers that we have of the dogs. I have the images of each dog with the circle around them and their names.
Right.
that was a woman I worked with through 99 Designs. Her name's Debbie Gray. If you guys are looking for an artist, her name's Debbie Gray on 99 Designs. She also designed the CC Mouse podcast logo with the two of us as mice.
That's right. I love that logo. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Did you hug her?
Yeah, I did. She came and sat down and she reached out to shake my hand and she's like, "Hi, I'm Debbie Gray." And I'm like, oh my gosh, the name sounds so familiar. But again, it was like in the midst of chaos and they're shoving people through our line and I'm trying to smile and take pictures and get the dogs to sit. And I'm like, there's just so much going on. And she goes, "From 99 Designs." And I'm like, no freaking way. And I just talked to her like 2 days before we left because I'm having her update the image of Kyra. So it's not puppy Kyra. So it looks more like adult Kyra. I'm having her redo that. You know, I'm paying her to do that. And I'm like, I just talked to you and you didn't even slip up. And she goes, "Yeah, I didn't know if I was going to make it or not. So I didn't want to get you all excited." I'm like, oh my gosh. So I got to see her. I got to see Jay Foxfire again. She's another artist that she's been around our channel since the beginning. We saw her last time we were in New York, but she came again and she gave me some really cute drawings of the dogs. And then I saw my friends from Philly, and and her name totally slips me. I can't even think. She says she forgives you for being a Pittsburgh fan. I do remember that.
Yeah, when you said Philly, my jaw got tighter real quick. I'm like, oh, I guess it's in Pennsylvania, but still Philly. All right.
Yeah, she says she forgives you for being a Pittsburgh fan. She's been in a lot of your live streams. She said she was in a couple of them, so I'm sure her name will come to me eventually.
It's okay. I can barely watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because he's from Philly. It's only a hockey thing, guys. I mean, Rocky wasn't that bad.
Right. Yeah, so there was a lot of people. Zuma the puppy was there again. She came last year. We saw Kyra's brother.
Oh my gosh, yes. Have you posted any pictures about that or mentioned that to anything, to anybody?
I posted it in the story on the dog's Instagram. One little tiny photo that said, "This is Kyra's brother, Indiana." And that was it.
Oh my gosh, they both have the same eyes.
Yeah, they do. They really do. So they're from Brooklyn, I believe. And that's Kyra's littermate brother. And he's so big compared to her and so loud compared to her. But yeah, they came and saw us and we saw Gatsby again. Gatsby, the old sport. He's an Instagram husky that we saw last year as well. I wish I could have had more time to talk to them. The only thing I think I've said this before about the pet cons. The biggest thing I don't like is how they just shove everybody through your line and then that's over.
Oh, do you have a handler?
Yeah, we have a lady that helped us and it's just kind of like they're rushing people through the line because we only have an hour and a half. Unlike when we go to like the pet expos and we have a booth and we're there all day and people can come hang out with us and we're talking to people and like it's so different. I mean, you were there at the LA Pet Con. It was exactly like that. Here's your line, shove them through. Everybody go, get a picture. Some of the people literally just sat down, didn't even say their name, took a picture and got up and left. And I'm like, okay, well, all right. You know?
That's a long ways to come. Maybe they're just making the rounds. You know, they're trying to get the most out of their ticket.
Right. And I know some of them don't have any idea who we are. And they're there because they're there for the event. So they want to get their pictures with the famous pets at the event. And the majority of people knew who we were and were there to see us. But it was interesting. We had a lot of fun. I'm glad we did it again. I was apprehensive at first, like, why are we doing this again? But I really am glad we did it again. And I won't rule out going again next year because I did have fun this year. It was a lot easier. It was a lot less stressful. Even when we left New York, like, it wasn't like we left New York because we're like, let's get out of this city. We left New York because it was like, well, we could sit here and try to let the dogs out 2 or 3 more times tonight and have to walk in the rain, or we could just leave. So we left.
So you just packed up and went?
Yeah, we just packed up and left, got on the road and drove 4 hours back to the hotel in Pennsylvania. Well, we got a different hotel in Pennsylvania, but we just packed up and left. Dogs slept the whole way. They were exhausted. Yeah.
No New York pizza?
No, we didn't. We had New York pizza at the event.
Okay.
They decided to do pizza for the VIP lounge, which is all the influencers and then anybody that bought a VIP ticket. So they wanted to order 100 pizzas, but they decided they were going to order 100 pizzas the night before the event.
Yeah, that's not very much time to order to make 100 pizzas.
No, they found somebody that did it, but they told them they would have to bring them in batches of 25. So they brought 25 pizzas at a time. And the first round of pizza, I don't think had any meat on it. But it was pretty good. It was actually good pizza. Like, Jamie and I both had some, and it was actually really good pizza. So
I've always wondered what New York pizza was like. The closest I think I've ever gotten to it was there's this place in Arizona that's a New York pizza, I made air quotes, pizza place, but they have their water brought in from New York, and apparently that's what makes the pizza is the water that they put in the dough and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, so I had it, and I still don't think it was a great representation. It's pizza. Don't get me wrong, guys. Don't get me wrong. It is pizza. Like, you can't do pizza wrong, and even if you do, I'll still eat it. But I'm not so sure that I grasp the full, like, pizza experience from New York.
I don't know. I still think Detroit has the best pizza.
Of course you do, and it's Little Caesars. Oh my gosh, it's like
no, not Little Caesars. Like Little Caesars is my favorite chain pizza place, but like I still think out of all the pizza that I've ever had anywhere in like big cities and things like that, I still feel like real Detroit pizza from a family place in Detroit is still, I don't know, it's still my favorite.
You had one that was a BLT pizza.
Yep.
And they were really good, and they're big. I love big pizza.
Yes.
The only thing that makes me sad is small pizza. I love big pizza.
Yeah, Michigan does pizza right. I will say that. We have a lot of varieties. Like, I've had a mashed potato pizza before.
Oh my gosh, you guys have too much time on your hands.
You would think it was disgusting, but oh my gosh, it was phenomenal. It tasted like a twice baked potato with all the toppings, only it was on pizza with a bunch of cheese. Like, there's no sauce on it, but it was delicious.
The BLT pizza you got was amazing.
Yeah, and I didn't know that BLT pizza wasn't a thing other places.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a place in this town that I could maybe find one, but it's not like a thing that's like on the tip of my tongue all the time when I think about pizza.
Right. It's a popular thing here.
I'm not sure out of all the food that I've eaten that I've ever denied pizza or I've ever not gone back because I'm like, well, this pizza isn't that good. Sure, I've said that, but I've still always gone back for more pizza. So just like that, in the car you go on the way back home as fast as you can. You guys, you made it back pretty fast. I got a text message from you and you're like, we're heading out of the city. And I was like, whoa, it's the same day as like the convention. Did you say that was Saturday night, right?
Yeah, it was Saturday night. We got home Sunday at 5 o'clock. It was 5:30 because when we left, the GPS said we would be home at 5:45, and it was a 8-hour and 48-minute drive, and it said we'd be home at 5:45, and my goal was beat that time. I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to stop for gas twice. If I make sure we get food when we stop for gas the second time, that means we only have to make 2 stops to let the dogs out. They're gonna sleep the whole way. We can do this, and we rolled in at 5:36.
Holy cow. That's fast.
So, yeah, I beat the time.
That's not across the country fast, but that's fast.
No, yeah, for what should have been a 8-hour and 48-minute drive or whatever it said, yeah, I did pretty good.
And you beat the storm. You were worried about the storm. We talked about that before you left. You were worried about the storm.
Yeah, when we were leaving Pennsylvania, we got up an hour later than I wanted to because I knew there was snow coming. And when we got on the road, it was snowing. And then it was like, icing conditions. There's icing conditions. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want icing conditions. So there was a lot of times where it was like you're slowing down way under the speed limit for a little bit. And then the roads would clear up and you just pick back up. And I don't know how many of you out there have ever driven I-80 in Pennsylvania, but holy cow, the speed limit for most of it is like 70 and all the semi-trucks do 80. That's
crazy. We have one freeway out here, the 15, that I think it's 70 and everybody's doing like 80, 85 and you're not making very much progress. Like everybody's just hauling butt.
Yeah, that's pretty much how 80 is when you go across. You can't, if you do 70, you're going to get run over by a semi-truck. So I just tried to keep in time with what everybody else was doing. Like if we were around traffic, I did whatever speed they were doing. I'm like, I'm not flying. I don't want to do 90.
Whoa. Let's not get out of character here, Jess.
Right? Well, I would never do that.
You almost killed 50% of the people in our car on the way to Disneyland.
Only because they were like nauseous in the back seat.
So recently, these guys drove across the country in 27 hours and 25 minutes.
That's so crazy.
That is so crazy. I could see you doing this. When I saw this article, it made me think of you. And then when you told me how fast you got back home from the Pet Expo, I'm like, oh man, we got to talk about this.
That is pretty mind blowing.
Would you do it?
I mean, we made it from Tucson, Arizona to Alpena, Michigan in 31 hours.
Are you serious?
Yeah, 31 hours straight.
Holy
we drove
cow.
straight. We didn't have any money for hotels. We didn't have a choice. Like, it was like, we're going home and we don't have any money for hotels. So it was 31 hours. But that was from Tucson, Arizona to Lupton, Michigan is where we actually drove.
Dang.
So less
how
of a distance.
fast were you going?
We weren't going that fast because it was less of a distance. But it was when we had a CB radio in our truck, so you could speed and listen to the truckers tell you where all the cops were.
Yeah, and see, I have a bad perception of time versus distance because in Los Angeles, you know, I can get all the way down to about 15 miles from the LAX, and it'll take me 45 more minutes to get to you, you know? So to me, when I see this time, I'm like, wow, they must have been going like Mach 3 or something like that.
Oh, they had to have been flying, though, because they were speeding for sure.
They averaged 109 miles an hour, and they got up to 190, and their cars were super equipped with thermal radars, aerial radars, so they could see the airplanes that are cops, you know, because out here we have that where they'll fly helicopters over, and then they'll mark somebody, and then you'll get pulled over, and you're like, wow, what happened? And they're like, oh, the airplane caught you. So they had all the heat signals and everything. They had CB radios. They had everything.
That's so crazy.
To try not to get them busted. And I think the record before that was like 28 hours and 50 minutes. So they just drove, breaking the speed limits, breaking the laws.
That's so
That's
crazy.
why nobody recognizes this record, but that's a lot. That's a lot. I would be scared, but I feel like you would do this. I feel like knowing you would. Yes, of course you would.
I would do it. That's a challenge. They did it right, though. I mean, if you read the full article, they had a full team and they had people that were driving ahead of them and like watching for cops. And like, it was like, it's a task. That's a setup.
Especially that you have to go faster than everybody. That's what I couldn't figure out. They had a task force of people that would try to stake out times that people were on the side of the road and cops and radars, but you have to be so far ahead of these people that are driving an average of 109 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That is a big record. That is a big record to want to try to have that's recognized by nobody. They built a special car for it, and if you could see the pictures of the inside of this car, and I'll post it on our Podbean site, there's 4 phones in there. There's like 10 cameras. They have GoPros everywhere. They have radars on the top of their car that they had to take off during the daytime so they didn't get in trouble.
They were using the Waze app so that, because you can report on Waze, you can report on Google Maps now too, where there's speed traps or where there's cars on the sides of the road. So like you get the notifications and it's like, hey, because every time my phone will go off and it'll be like, hey, somebody reported there's a speed trap up here. Okay, well, we better slow down.
But for what though? For what? For us to talk about it on a C-list podcast? Like what are you guys doing? And like why it's not all over the news? It doesn't have headlines. Where are you getting the prestige from doing this thing that is highly illegal?
You know what though? I mean, it's not always about the views and the clicks and the attention. Sometimes it's just about being able to say, I did that. I did that.
Yeah, and you know what? And it used to be I did that before the invention of the cell phone.
Exactly. Before social media and stuff like that, it was just I did that. I accomplished that.
That is very true. And it would only be between you and your buddies.
Yep. The best story to tell your friends.
You know, I was watching old Woodstock 93 or 97 videos from like back when they tried to do like a Woodstock anniversary thing on MTV. You remember when they did that? And like everybody was there.
I do.
I was watching some old footage of it, and everybody in the comments, all the kids were like, it's so crazy to see a concert where not everybody has their cell phones up in their air.
Right?
Yep, because there just wasn't cell phones back then. Sure, like Zach Morris had one, and we had beepers, but like,
right?
You're right. So when I would watch it, I just stared at the audience, and everybody just had their hands in the air, and there was nothing in them.
Sometimes they'd have lighters.
Right. So I guess you're right. I guess you used to do things for just prestige.
You'd have a heart attack.
I would not do it at all.
You'd be in so much panic mode. Like, I think you would worry the whole time.
Oh, yes. I'm looking at their HUD display. 193 miles an hour was their max. Average moving speed was 104. They only stopped for 22 minutes. They moved for 27 hours. Now that I'm older, like, maybe I get it. Like, if I could drive it and I'd be in control, I get it because I can feel what's going on. But
you're like, no.
And that's the thing. I never liked that growing up. But, like, when I come to Michigan, like, I trust you and Jamie. Like, when we were climbing stuff and going over stuff, and I'm like, oh, like, I trust you guys. But when I was younger, like, I had a freak out. I don't want to go 193 miles an hour if I'm not in control. Right.
I learned to drive from my dad. Man, I remember one time we were driving to Cedar Point. This is a horrible story to tell, but I'm going to tell it anyway. Sorry, Dad, if you're listening. We were driving to Cedar Point, and we were in our car, and he was in his car, and I think my sister Casey and Greg were with us in our car. And I believe I had my black Jeep Grand Cherokee, my very first Jeep Pretty sure that's what we were driving. If not, I'm pretty sure that's the one. It was either the black one or the blue one. But anyway, we all decided to go to Cedar Point together. And when we drive, we tend to drive with walkie-talkies so that we can talk to each other because we're in 2 separate vehicles. Mm-hmm. Walkie-talkies are also really good for Dad will pass a car, we'll be going up a hill, I can't see anything, and Dad will come over the walkie-talkie and go, 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 go. I can't see anything. We're doing 65 miles an hour down. I mean, you've seen our little 2-lane highways, 1 lane going one way, 1 lane going the other way, uphill, around corners. My dad's yelling through the CB, go, 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 go. I'm passing people. Man, I wish I would have had a camera back then. I wish I would have had cell phones because the looks on people's faces when you pass them, when they know you can't see, is priceless. It is hilarious. I mean, they're just like white as a ghost. And we're just going. Dad said it's clear. Let's go.
I'm glad you're laughing because you know who I am? I'm white as a ghost guy going like, oh my gosh, why are they doing this?
Oh,
I've hung around you long enough, and then I hung around your parents this last time for quite some hours.
Yeah.
We're an unlikely trio. Like your dad and me and your mom. You are your dad.
Yeah.
Your mom is super sweet, and your dad is a firecracker. You are your dad. Oh my gosh.
Now you know where I got it from.
Yep. You're 90% him and 10% her, which she's the sweetest thing ever. I'm so sorry she has to hang out with you guys all the time.
I think you'd be surprised if you get to know my mom a little bit more.
She was so nice to me. She kept feeding me her chili her soup. Like she brought soup and there was already soup there. She's like, and I had a bowl and I went to go get the other soup and she's like, you should eat this one. And she like convinced me to eat her soup. I'm like, oh, you do have an agenda.
My mom was always like, when we were young growing up, my mom was always the one that was like, my friends would come over and she would want to feed everybody and she would want to make sure everybody was taken care of, like no matter what. My mom was always make sure. And I think that's why like when I would have friends, I became really close with a lot of friends because they basically become family. Nobody calls my mom John and Kathy. It's mom and dad. Everybody calls mom and dad. So even when we moved up here and like I became friends with Jamie and Greg and Eric would come to our house for holidays. Like it wasn't, like Christmas or whatever. It wasn't like, oh, it's only for family. No, they were family. And if they had no place to go, they came to our house. Like that was just the way, my mom and dad have always been. And I don't know, I think I get that from my mom, that I always want to feel welcoming to other people, if that makes sense.
It does, because we had a whole week of it during Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to make sure that everybody, they come over, they feel comfortable, they're fed. I get that from my mom.
I will say, my house was that house as well, where my mom was just mom to everybody. They were always welcome. We were always taken care of. My mom would come into the bedroom, like with the tray, with the drinks and the snacks on it. Like, look, guys. Right? And we're up to no good, but they're still feeding us, even though we're up to no good. But yeah, anyway, so I thought you would try going and challenging this land speed record. I think that's something that you'd want to do. I'd
do it. I'd have to find the right people to go with me, though.
You'd have your Spotify aggressive playlist, and you
know what I would have? I would have I used to play Burnout on the Xbox all the time. Yes. And I believe I have it somewhere. I'm going to have to find out. But I had a CD. I had a Burnout CD that I would play when I would play Burnout. And it was all the songs just for like fast driving.
Oh, I imagine that. I did play Burnout as well. That is totally your game.
Oh, I love that game so much. Yeah, I would have that. I would have to have like a specific driving playlist and just drive.
I just don't want to do it. I want to do other stuff. And now that I'm older, like maybe that would be exciting, but that's too long of just like, how do you not get pulled over? How do you not get busted?
I mean, they took my driver's license away once before, so
that's
whatever.
True. That's true.
Let's see if we can do it again. No, really though, if you're listening to us out there, don't speed. It's not worth it.
Don't be a delivery service person because you'll end up driving like a crazy man also.
Is that what you're learning? You're learning how to be a race car driver?
Yeah, you know what? You could do it. You could, because you could probably multitask and stuff like that, but you can't. If you're a guy, you can't be a DoorDash driver. Like you're going to get into a car accident. I tried, let me tell you people, I DoorDashed for like the last week and I was a danger to everybody, and I'm sorry. I apologize right up front. I am sorry, but you can't juggle 4 things at once: a car, a food order, directions, Google Map not pointing north. That's just too much. I know I ran a something. I don't know what it was, but I swear I ran a something trying to deliver people's DoorDashes.
Oh, that's hilarious.
What if I showed up? What if I showed up at your door? Would you be stoked?
I mean, I'm always happy when somebody brings food to my house.
Yeah, but now that I'm about to tell you this story, you're going to look at them in a different way.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, you're going to have more compassion from these people that give life, limb, blood. I ran yellows because it was going to mess up my metrics.
I'm always happy, right? I'm always happy when somebody brings food to my house. I'm never mean to them.
Yeah, unless they forget your hot mustard.
Right?
All right, guys, let me paint you a picture. So there I am going like, I'm going to deliver DoorDash and Postmates, and I'm going to be an Uber driver, and everybody's going to love me. It's going to be the Dan Show, and it's going to be so fun. Oh my gosh. That is completely the opposite of what happened. So I apply for Postmates, I apply for DoorDash, I apply for Instacart, and I get them all. They're like, here you go. And they send you debit cards. They send you like these bags that keep your food hot and or cold, which is mind blowing because it's the same bag. And off I go, right? I get the app. I put it on my little clip thing. It's on my dashboard. I'm driving up the road. I turn on my thing, and immediately I think, here's what I think is going to happen. This is what I think is going to happen. I'm going to get like 100 orders. I'm going to show up. These people are going to love me. They're just going to like, it's going to rain money on my head because I'm so charming. And as I say witty things when I bring you your McDonald's. And what the reality is, is that like this thing pops up on your screen and it starts heart beating. It's all thump, 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 thump. The thump, like you're on a game show and the time's running out. First of all, it's like you put your head on that bat and spin around 10 times because you're driving in the car and you're trying to look. Right. And I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, you need to go to Wendys and pick up like a kid's meal and a medium Diet Coke for mom or dad. I don't know whoever. And then you need to take it like to a location. I'm like, all right, where's it at? They're like, no. Just go get the food. So I drive the car over there. Instantly, I feel like 911. I'm like blasting around cars. And it says I have like 11 minutes to get there and it's 2 minutes away. But I'm like, no, man, it's all about metrics. So I get there. I'm all happy. I swipe. I run in there. I'm like, everybody stop. I'm from DoorDash. And then I run to the counter and they're like, what's the name? And I give the name and I show them my little thing. And they're like, all right, I'll be out in a minute. My heart's racing. And I'm like, I'm going to give them so many condiments and napkins and this is going to be great. So they give me the food. I put it in the bag. I zip it up and I hit the little button that says, I have the food. Like, where are we taking the bomb before it detonates? And it's like, oh, yeah, dog, you're going to go like 15 miles away. I'm like, wait, what? In the what? Like 15 miles away? We're about to pass 3 more Wendys on the way to get there. They're like, I know, but that one doesn't deliver. So you're going to take these chicken nuggets, which was the thing I transported the most. I pretty much was a chicken nugget transporter. So I transport these chicken nuggets from A to B and I'm going really fast and I'm California stopping and I'm like getting there like 6 minutes early. I'm like, yes, like they might not even be ready for dinner yet, but here it is 6 minutes early. And I show up like Lord Byron. I'm on one knee and I'm knocking on the door and I'm unzipping the hot pouch and I'm like, here's your chicken nuggets with Sawsum sauce. And then they're all like, oh, thank you, sir. And then they take it and they're going to just rain money on me. And sometimes it's like we're trained now to like be sketchy about everything. Right. So it's like, same time, man, same time. So I'm trying to like hand her the food as she's trying to send my receipt and like, you know, I don't want her to punch me in the face and take the food. You know, why are we so sketchy? And I'm fun time Dan. So I try to make jokes and stuff. Didn't play well with anybody. They liked my hair, but like, I don't know. It was like this sketchy trade-off every time. And I didn't know where I was going. And they sent me so far away, guys. It took 25 minutes to get back home after that one.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. So I Ding Dash, DoorDash, Postmated for 3 or 4 days. I did like 8 or 10 hours. Right. My average pay for that was about $4.43 an hour.
That's so crazy.
Plus I have to pay taxes on that. And I need to put gas on my car.
Yep.
So I'm not so sure that it was profitable. It's a grind.
Yeah. It is a grind. I do think that it's definitely something that you really, like anything else, you want to make a YouTube channel work. Well, you got to put the work in. It's not like you get a job working retail and it's like, there's your job, do this, you get paid. This is like, oh, you want to be good at this? You got to work for it.
You do, because all the orders I got were kind of like small orders, and it's a ladder system. So if you do well and your metrics are good, then you'll start getting more jobs. The more jobs you get, the more opportunities before everybody else on the trickle down gets those same opportunities. So at one point there was a Chipotle order that came up, and it's like, you got to go in there and order like all this Chipotle for like $4. I'm like, I can't do that because I'm going to mess up somebody's Chipotle.
Right.
And then they're going to be mad. But it's like, all right, if you don't want to do that, your rating's going to go down 50%. So now I'm at gunpoint trying to drive stuff. And this is the biggest complaint about all these delivery services is the metrics have changed so much, and they change every week, that you're at gunpoint now. If you don't want to drive this from A to B, which doesn't seem like it's worth it anymore, tough luck. If you don't want to do it, your rating's going to go down by 50%. That is brutal.
Right.
It is brutal. So it's hard. You have to try to apply for hours. Like on Instacart, I had to show up at 9 o'clock in the morning, like on the app, to try to get my hours. But by the time all the priority hours were taken, there's no hours for the week in our town.
Right.
So it's very much a grind, and it's very much different. Don't even get me started with like Uber and Lyft. Like, it's just horror stories. Never drive somebody around for money. Like, don't do that.
I think unless you're in like a big city, like if you're in New York or you're in LA or you're in like, I think the big city areas like by airports and stuff, I think those people do pretty well doing it because there's a constant need. There's always somebody getting off an airplane. There's always somebody, New York City, nobody has a car. Downtown LA, a lot of people don't have cars. Same thing, downtown Chicago. I think those big city areas, Uber and Lyft work really well. But I think outside of those areas, like you said, you're probably just going to break even. It's just not
it is a
thing.
break even.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's a total break even, but let me tell you this, guys. And here's where the story turns around. What a rush. Oh my gosh. You guys have never panicked in a fast food restaurant until you have to deliver it for strangers. I've been in that Wendys 100 times. I know how to order a Baconator with my mouth, but you think I could make all this stuff happen, and I'm trying to fill them up drinks, and how much ice do they want? And do they really want 2 lemonades, or do they want 1 lemonade and 1 Coke? And then now there's this machine that you have to hit all these buttons, and it's just got 1 spout and everything comes out of it. And my heart's racing, and you have to put the food in the hot bag, and don't forget that if there's napkins or forks, and when you hit the go button, it says this location's is notoriously forgetting napkins and side orders and stuff. And now I'm trying to peek in there, and I'm trying not to eat a fry for the fry tax, and your heart's racing. It's just fast food. And then I have no idea where I'm going. Is it the ghetto? Is it a fancy neighborhood? One neighborhood, I had to like have a gate code to get into the neighborhood, and it was beautiful in there. And after I dropped off the food, I took a lap around the place because I was never going to be in a place this nice again. And and so like, it's so exhilarating. If you were to do it with your friends, you guys still wouldn't make money. You'd break even, but you would have tons of fun. You have no idea who's coming out of the, it's like trick-or-treating.
Right.
You have no idea who's coming out. Everybody was nice. Everybody at the restaurants were nice, except for the lady at McDonald's, which wanted nothing to do with me at all. But everybody else was really nice.
Are you going to keep doing it?
I would do it for a video if like you and I hopped in the car and did it, or like somebody fun hopped in the car and we like rode around and did it for fun, but it doesn't make any money. So like I would, if I sit at home, I get the same pay. I'm
wondering if, like we were saying, like maybe after Christmas, if the orders will pick up.
It could be. It's weird because like Postmates gives you like $4 maximum to deliver. And if they want to give you a tip, that's fine. When I turned on DoorDash had already a tip included in it. So it's like, hey, if you want to deliver ramen from A to B, you're at least guaranteed $8. I'm like, oh, I'll do that. That'll put a couple gallons in my tank. But like, it takes a long time at the ramen place for them to make ramen. So it was almost an hour that I was there for waiting for the ramen, getting the ramen place, getting the ramen to the person out there pretending to do something in the front yard so I wouldn't come in his house with the food, which I wouldn't have done anyway, and giving him the ramen. And then now I'm 25 minutes away from home. Yeah,
see, and I think the people that stack do really well. Like when we ordered, because I ordered Postmates. Was it Postmates the first day? Yeah, I think it was Postmates or DoorDash. No, it was DoorDash. I ordered DoorDash the first night we were in New York, and the guy that brought the DoorDash also had a Prime Now bag. So he was stacking. He was like, I can do this and I can do this at the same time. And I think that unless you stack, you won't be able to make a lot of money, doing it. But if you could be like, I'm doing Prime Now and I'm doing Uber Eats and DoorDash and Postmates and all those and whatever other ones, if you can stack them, I think you have a better chance. But you have to be able to juggle all that.
You can't. They know when you have more than one app open. They know how much screen time your app has. They know if you're trying to double dip. The only thing that you can do is if you get really good at DoorDash and you get a really high rating, they will give you 2 orders at once. Like, hey, McDonald's and Wendy's is in the same parking lot, and these are kind of relatively in the same area. You'll double dip for that. But the metrics are so tiny that like you really have to be flawless. One time I pulled into the left turn lane and I needed to go right. And it was 4 minutes of me trying to wait for a green light to turn left, to turn into the parking lot, to make a U-turn, to go back out, to go back the other way. So it's really like, you really got to know what's going on. And you need a co-pilot. You need a Chewy. Right. So if you have that, it's fun, but it's not profitable. I don't see how it could be profitable at $4.23 a gallon here for gas and trying to deliver. You'd have to
have a very, very fuel efficient car.
So here's the crazy part too. Everybody ordered chicken nuggets, a kid's Happy Meal, 2 tacos and a quesadilla. Lady, if I'm bringing you food, you need to mukbang that stuff. Like, you need to have a burrito. You need to have a chalupa. Like, what do you mean I'm just bringing you a plain cheeseburger with no sauce on it? That's what you're paying a bunch of money for? I mean, that's your prerogative.
Sometimes though, it's like, it's great that somebody can do it. I think, because what did we have? The first night we were at the hotel, we had, I don't remember, Chick-fil-A. I wanted a chicken sandwich. I literally ordered a chicken sandwich, a box of their little chicken nuggets, and a bowl of chicken noodle soup because Jamie didn't feel like eating, and that's what he eats when he doesn't feel like eating is chicken noodle soup. So that's what I ordered. 3 things. And I don't know what it cost me, but I was really thankful that somebody was going to bring it to me and I didn't have to go out and get it. And I tipped well. I think I did the 25% tip. I always tip well when I don't order, especially when I don't order a lot of food because I feel bad. I'm like, here's 25%, And then the next night I did, because I did DoorDash the one night, and I think the next day I did Grubhub. That was the one. I don't know if you signed up for that one yet.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, so I did Grubhub, which is a really popular one. And it was the same thing. I ordered a sandwich and a Philly cheesesteak. It was like cheap, but I was really thankful that there was somebody to bring it to me. So sometimes I think it has to do with that. Like, you don't know the people that are ordering like the kids' meals and stuff. Maybe the kid's sick. Maybe the parent's sick. Maybe they don't have a car and they need that.
Oh, and I'm not knocking it. You're right. But it's like, I don't know. The one time I ordered the biggest breakfast from IHOP ever with burgers and everything. I'm like, if you're going to bring me this thing, I want it to be grandiose. Like, I want it to be huge and big. But just know, and I just brought up Grubhub, it says that they weren't accepting applications because there's too many Grubhubbers. There's too many Grubbers. So I can't do Grubhub. But just know that kid risked life and limb, at some point drove your food with his knee on the steering wheel so he could figure out where you're at over some Chick-fil-A that just tastes like a steamed hot dog. That place is just steamed hot dogs. It reminds me of lunch at the cafeteria in high school.
You don't like Chick-fil-A?
I don't. Okay, look, I like the Chick-fil-A sauce until I got the chicken dipping sauce at Walmart, which is exactly Chick-fil-A sauce, which is amazing. And that's it. Every time I've eaten that place, my bun and my chicken and everything is like steamed in this foil bag from junior high. And like, it just all tastes like a hot dog. And it's like, I paid $7 for unseasoned curly fries when Carl's Jr. has crisp cut fries. Does your Hardee's have crisp cut fries? I relied on the sauce. I realized it should be called Chick-fil-A sauce. And you should just always drink the sauce because it's all you're doing is every Chick-fil-A item is just a vessel to put sauce in your mouth.
I like their chicken sandwiches. I really do.
It doesn't just taste like hot dogs to you? I sounded way too angry for that.
No.
I mean, I'll
wow.
I'll
Whoa, Dan has an opinion.
If you send me a gift card, I'll go. But, I'm not trying to go all the way out to Palmdale, which is 20 minutes away, to get some sort of steamed bird.
I liked it. I've always liked it. We used to go there a lot when we lived in Arizona. That was one of my favorite places. And maybe it's because we can't get it now that every time we go somewhere, if it's close, I'm like, I want that. That's what I want. Yeah. New York City, I can have whatever I want. Literally whatever I want. And I wanted a chicken sandwich.
Dang. So anyway, if you guys want the hot setup on the DoorDash, don't do it. And if you're going to do it, just apply because they'll send you a free hot bag and like a shirt and all kinds of cool stuff. So now when you go to the store and you use your reusable bags, sure, they say DoorDash and Postmate on them, but they're going to keep your food hot and or cold. Do you have any delivery services in your little town?
We only have Shipped. That's the only one we have.
Does that bring you food, or does that only bring you like Meijer
groceries? Stuff? Only Meijer stuff. But yep, shipped works for Meijer. So there was, I think, 2 girls and 1 guy that were working shipped, because I used to have it. I used to get shipped stuff until I don't know, I just realized I wanted to go to the store instead of having somebody bring it to me. In the wintertime, it's really nice because I don't have to leave and it's freezing cold outside. But yeah, shipped is the only one we have up here right now.
But like, you don't have anybody to bring you food?
No. Nope. There's nobody. There's no DoorDash, Grubhub, Postmates. None of that is here, which I hate. And I hate that a lot of the places here don't understand that online ordering is a thing and it's phenomenal. Like, one of the first things I set up at the deli as soon as I knew we could get it was online ordering. Yes. I love it. It's the greatest thing ever. Like, I don't have to call you. I'm not tying up your phone. I'm not on the phone with you going, can I get a club sandwich but with no turkey, with roast beef instead, and add pickles and no mayonnaise and lightly toasted and blah, 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 blah. I'm not on the phone with you for 5 minutes while you're trying to explain the order. You can go on there. You can take your time. You can put your order in, and then it just shows up at the deli and prints off. And here you go. Here's the order. Like, it is the greatest thing in the world, and there are so many places up here that do not understand that. Like, there's pizza places here, small pizza places, and I'm like, Gloria Foods has online ordering, and it's, wait for it, free. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. You don't pay anything. All you have to do is set it up, and it's free. I don't know why it's free. I don't know how it's free, but it's free. They don't charge you a percentage of the orders that come in. They don't charge you a monthly fee for anything unless you want to accept credit cards online. So for the deli, we just put a note in that says, if you'd like to pay by credit card, leave your phone number and we'll call you and get it. So we do the order, and then we would call the people and be like, okay, we're ready to send out your order. Give us your credit card number. They'd give us a credit card number. We'd put it in. Ta-da!
Right, and like it or not, this is the way of the future. This is how it's going.
Oh, I cannot stand that the restaurants up here are not with it when it comes to that. Like, you know, I like ordering from JJ's sometimes at night because it's one of the only dinner restaurants in town I like. I hate calling them because it's a bar restaurant. So you call and it's loud and they can't understand you and you're repeating things. And all I think, and it's probably because I've ran a restaurant for 12 years, I get into the mentality of, I'm wasting your time. I'm taking time away from what you could be doing with customers that are in the restaurant. I am literally just wasting your time, and that bothers me.
Right, and I'm still old school, so I haven't tried any of those like curbside pickups or any of those delivery things yet. But like, when I was with you for that week, you ordered like everything via your phone, and by the time we pulled in, it was like ready to go.
Yeah, I use apps for everything. If we get McDonald's, I'll order on the app, and I will just pull up in the mobile parking. I do the same thing with Taco Bell, especially like on game night, because everybody wants something different. I'll sit down here, I'll get everybody's order, I'll put it in on the app, I'll hit submit, I'll go to Taco Bell, pull up in the drive-thru, food's ready. Like, I think, like I said, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I was in the restaurant business for a long time. Right. And I know what it's like to sit there and try to take somebody's order and not understand what they say, or they don't know what they want, and you're just wasting so much time. Like, if you can train people to use, and I'm not, people are like, oh, that takes away from jobs. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. What it does is it makes the places faster. Because I'm not spending 5 minutes on the phone with you, I can get through 2 more people that are standing in line in front of me, which means now I can wait on 2 more people. So you still need me. You still need me to be here. And now we're making more food. So now we need more people in the kitchen. Like, people always have that mentality of don't use self-checkouts and don't use online ordering because it takes away from jobs. But the reality of it, and the research that's actually has been done on it, shows that it actually creates more jobs because it makes things faster. Instead of getting three orders in 15 minutes, I can do 7 orders in 15 minutes. Well, now I need people to make those 7 orders in 15 minutes. So I need more people in the kitchen area to make that food, to get the food out in the same amount of time. Like, that's kind of the trade-off for it. And I think people who aren't in the industry don't grasp that. All they see is, you're taking away my cashier and you're making me talk to a machine. Pretty much all of them still have a cashier there. Yes, you can order on the app, But I have friends of mine that own small restaurants here in town, and that was always my big thing. I'm like, why don't you have online ordering?
It's the
I
future.
don't want to set it up. Oh, I don't want to take the time. Oh, it's confusing. Oh, it's difficult. And I'm like, half of these online ordering apps literally hook up with your POS system, so
Yes.
they'll go right to it, and you don't have to do anything. Like, I think we're still behind the times when it comes to a lot of that stuff up here, and it drives me nuts. Every time we leave and go somewhere, I that's always what I say to Jamie. I'm like, why doesn't Alpina get it? Like, the family-run restaurants, I could literally come in and set it up for you guys. Like, just let me come in and set up your online ordering. It's so simple.
What I've watched happen is if you don't do it, you will go out of business.
Yes, if you don't get with the times. If I go to order pizza, and pizza is just an example, and I either have to get on the phone and call you and wait on hold because you're talking to somebody else, or because there's somebody standing there in front of you. Now I'm on hold for 10 minutes. Now I already forgot what I wanted. Then you come to the phone. Then I'm confused because I waited on hold. Now I got to tell you what I want. Oh, you can't do this. And oh, we don't have that. Now I've wasted 20, 30 minutes trying to order pizza. Or I could just get on the computer or get on my phone and be like, okay, I'm going to go to Mancino's North, which is one of our local pizza places that does have online ordering. Go to Mancino's North. Okay, I want a BLT pizza. I want a chicken bacon ranch pizza, which is disgusting, but whatever. People like it, I guess. Order those two things, hit submit, hit delivery or pickup or whatever, and it shows up, and I didn't have to talk to anybody. That took me 5 minutes and took you no time at all. I just don't grasp how people don't see that it's beneficial. But again, I worked in that industry for 12 years, so I think that makes a big difference.
I was thinking 2 nights ago, I got a Christmas tree, and I was like, why is there no Christmas tree delivery service where they're bringing trees to your house? They'll bring in one of each size, make and model, and you just pick your tree, and they either just give you that tree or somebody comes by with a tree 20 minutes later. But there needs to be like a tree delivery service.
That's a really good idea. I think you can make a lot of money at the holidays doing that. There's people that put up your Christmas lights for you.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, there are companies that come around. We actually have one that services all of northern Michigan up here. They come, and not only do they put your lights up, you pay them to put your lights up. They come at the end of the season and take your lights down, and then they store them.
No way.
With your names on them. Yeah, yep.
Oh
they
my
store
gosh,
them with
how
your
is
names
that
on
profitable?
them. So, yeah, because you spend a lot of money to do it.
I guess
it's not. You're spending a couple $100s for people to come and put lights up on your house. But when you have, you spend $500 to have it done. Realistically, you got 2 people. They come and put the lights up in less than an hour. Realistically, a lot of the places you can do a whole house in less than an hour with 2 people.
Right.
And then they come take them down in less than an hour, and then all you got to do is store them. You've got a warehouse anyway. Everybody's paying it. You get $500 to do that. I mean, you're making money.
Yeah,
you're making money
that's
doing
cool.
it.
What's it called? Is it called Lights, Baby? Lights, Baby.
Oh gosh, I just had it open the other day, and I don't even remember what the one here is called.
You guys at home, do you imagine what it's like for this company to like store these things? It's just a house with Rubbermaid containers with labels on them for people's houses that they have to go and put lights up on. That is crazy.
It's pretty cool.
But they should also bring trees. I went out and tried to get a Christmas tree. And this is old man Dan talking here, but holy cow, it costs a lot of money for a Christmas tree.
Yeah, it does.
Wow, all of a sudden your $200 fake tree isn't so bad anymore. So I go out, I'm trying to find a Christmas tree. I live in the city still, on the outskirts of Los Angeles, so lots of pavements. And I went to like Home Depot, I went to Lowe's, I went to the local treery. I don't know what you want to call what the guy was doing at the corner of the street over there. And like, there was $200 and $300 trees. I watched a guy go in there and like, go, how much is this tree? And it was like 9 feet tall and it was so pretty. And the guy's like, it's $198 plus like, I'll put it on your roof. And he like dropped 2 bones on a big old Christmas tree. I was struggling to spend $40 on this little thing that was just struggling on to live.
Right.
It looked like, you guys ever watch Encino Man, like in the beginning where they find Brendan Fraser and he need like before the music montage where he needs like sprucing up? That's my tree.
That's your tree.
It is. None of these lots. And we're still a little ways out from Christmas. We're still 2 weeks out from Christmas. A week and a half out from Christmas. Why is there no more like affordable trees? Why is every tree there 10 feet tall? And I think it has a birdhouse in it. And it's like $200.
Because that's all that's left. Everybody bought the cheap trees.
I know. I should have been earlier. So I bought a tree. I put it in my backseat of my Jeep. Like, that's how small it was. It actually fit in my Jeep. It's cute. I love it. Don't get me wrong, guys. It's like, I'm taller than the tree, which makes me feel better, I guess. So I'm taller than the tree, but I was still able to put all the ornaments I wanted on there, and it was fun. My house smells like pine, which I love. I went and sat by the tree after I decorated it. I went and sat by it and just hung out there. Even last night I was watching TV and I was just sitting by the tree. It didn't do anything, but I was happy.
But it smelled good and it smelled like outside.
Yeah, and the cats didn't want anything to do with the tree, which is baffling to me because when we had a fake tree, they would sit in the fake tree. But all the years we've had a real tree, they don't want to like get up in the tree. And I have the ornaments that won't break up, and all the ornaments that will break are put away because of cats. But all the ornaments that won't break are on the tree. And it's like, could you like hop in there for some footage or something, please? And they don't want anything to do with the tree at all.
I can literally go up the road from our house and cut down my own tree at a tree farm, and it's like $30.
That's so crazy. They're $40. They're already past half-life. Like they're already like on their way out. Like there's so many needles in my Jeep. It's ridiculous. The base of it was so tiny that I had to put like a tree koozie on it. Like I had to tape cardboard all around the base of it just so the tree holder would like grip into it.
That's hilarious.
I love it though, guys. I do love it. It's holding up all my ornaments and it's trying to be proud. It's I won't lie, it leans to the left a little bit, but who doesn't? And but I love my tree. So I got a Christmas tree. It was real. I mean, I guess
I haven't even seen a picture of it yet.
No, nobody has. It's humble. It's a humble little tree.
I don't know if we got it on video or not, but when we walked to the convention in New York City, there was 2 places along the way that were selling live Christmas trees on the side of the road. And both times I thought of you. I'm like, oh my God, you'd think this was the greatest thing ever.
Was it
Because there was all these little, it was so cool. And they had like all different sizes, but they also had like New York City apartment sized trees. So they had like these little 3 and 4 foot Christmas trees that were like the cutest little things.
In conclusion, I got my tree. All the ornaments are on there. None of them are broken yet, and the cats are lazy and they are disinterested in Christmas.
I got a big fence, so Kira can't get close to my tree anymore.
I saw that the other day. It's like 3 feet tall. I get it though. You have to cover the tree because Kira wants to eat the tree all the time, but that is a tall fence.
Yeah. So I only put it up when I'm not home. When I come home, I fold it up and put it behind the chair. So like it doesn't look like there's not like a fence in front of the tree all the time.
So right now it's
only
down.
for when right now it's down. It's only for when we can't actually be here. Like if both of us leave the house and there's nobody to watch her, we put it up just to be safe. I don't want her to bite the lights while we're gone. I don't want her to choke on something while we're gone. So it's like, this is good. But like I said, since that first day when she tried to step on the tree and got tangled in the lights and it scared her, she hasn't gone near it since.
Okay,
so
maybe that fixed that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that was her moment of, I don't like this. I'm just going to stay away from it.
Right. That'll do it for this week's episode of the CC Mouse Podcast. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Podbean, YouTube at CC Mouse Podcast. Check out our merch at ccmousepodcast.shop. And we'll see you guys next week. Same mouse time, same mouse podcast. Bye.
Bye. Hey.
Yeah.
Next week will be Christmas.
Oh my gosh, Christmas episode. Who wants a Christmas episode? Yay.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Hey, guess what?
What?
We did a thing.
Yes.
We did a thing.
We've done a lot of things in a row.